What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So we recently had the newest vampire movie Abigail come out in theaters, and I did check it out over the weekend. I did give a review on it. Check out the review if you want to know what I thought about it. But I thought it'd be a good time to actually name off some of my favorite vampire movies that I usually tend to watch. So this is going to be a list of my favorite vampire movies, just a few of them, the top ones that I probably rewatch the most. So this is not in any specific order. This is just in general some of my top favorites. So let's go ahead and get into this. So my top favorite movie is going to be Twilight. I think this is the movie that gives us the best representation of what a vampire is really like. I'm sorry. I couldn't say that with a straight face. Twilight is definitely not on this list, believe it or not. No, but what really is on this list is going to be Blade and basically the Blade trilogy. I love the Blade trilogy.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yes, they are. Wait, that don't make any sense. Oh, but I love the Blade trilogy. Yes, I even include Blade Trinity. That one is basically like a guilty pleasure. But when it comes to the Blade trilogy, I remember the very first Blade movie was actually one of the very first rated R movies that I saw as a kid when it came out. And I just remember watching that movie and just loving this movie and loving the character of Blade and just thinking he is so awesome. He's such a badass, the Daywalker, as they call him. When it comes to this movie and this trilogy, I just love the character of Blade, with him being a Marvel character. And I just remember seeing these movies and just diving into this world of the Blade, of, him hunting down vampires, seeing vampires attack people and all that stuff. And these movies are just a lot of fun. The first Blade movie I love. The second Blade movie I think is a little bit better than the first, but it's definitely awesome. And yes, like I said, Blade Trinity is also a guilty pleasure. I can still watch that movie like I did when I was a young kid and still have a lot of fun with it. Not saying it's a great movie or anything like that, but it is definitely a movie that you could definitely have fun with and laugh at. With Blade Trinity, you have just the things you hear about Blade Trinity. I tell you, go look at some of the stuff that they said about Blade Trinity, like just all this behind the scenes stuff of Blade Trinity. You're gonna find something interesting and funny. And you have Wesley Snipes in there also. You got Ryan Reynolds doing his sort of proto Deadpool kind of stuff going on in that movie also, and just it's wild and it's just a fun time. You can be able to poke fun at it and all that stuff, but like I said, the first Blade movie, the second Blade movie, amazing, awesome, badass, great movies. I also wanted to say that we get one of the best openings in a comic book movie where Blade goes to the rave and you hear the music and all that, and people just are scared of him when they step aside, and then just bloody action going on. I love it. Blade Trinity, of course, is it's fun to watch at least. Some other vampire movies that I like to watch on occasion is the Underworld movies, and really, I kind of like the first three more, probably, are the most ones I probably rewatch the most. The fourth one is at least a watchable movie. I don't really rewatch it too much. And the fifth one, I only seen once. I think I need to rewatch it, but I do not remember. I remember not liking that movie, to be honest. I only saw it the one time. I might need to rewatch it just to see if I still had the same feelings about it or not. But when it comes to the Underworld, I just like this whole well, Underworld, as they say, this whole underworld between the vampires and the Lycans, aka werewolves, or this long years battle that's been going on for centuries. And I just like the lore of these movies, and how we're able to get these characters and be able to get Kate Beckinsale, which I gotta say she looks pretty good in this movie. But I like the Underworld movies, honestly. When it comes to vampire movies, these are probably some of the ones I rewatch the most. I really enjoy everything that they do in these movies. I also like werewolves too, so you get kind of the best of both worlds in this movie. You got vampires, werewolves fighting against each other. You get some great action going on in here, and honestly, these movies I just enjoy watching. Just like I said, vampires, werewolves, what more could you ask for in there? Another favorite is going to be Daybreakers, and this one is a very interesting take on vampires. This movie is basically about a world where vampires are basically the majority of the population. There is very little to no humans left on Earth, and basically the way this story is set up is we got the vampires, and they're trying to find a new source for blood, or create a new source for blood, because they're running very low on They're running very low on it. So I thought this movie is definitely an interesting take on the whole vampires, like vampire lore and vampire way we know vampires in general. And I just think it's interesting that they will do this with the vampires. Is definitely an interesting take that they would do. And I do watch this one on occasion. I just think it's a very interesting take on vampires. Something a little different from typical vampire movies that you see. And it's just kind of interesting to me. And we get into another one I definitely like rewatching, and this one is definitely a guilty pleasure, which is kind of surprising to me that this one will be considered a guilty pleasure, because when it first came out, I was like all in on it, and now over more recent years, I've just been people bashing and hating on this movie. But that movie I'm talking about is Van Helsing, back from the early 2000s. This one starring Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. But honestly, I guess I have to put it as a guilty pleasure because I just love this movie. This is one of the movies I rewatched the most. I rewatched this one a lot, actually. And I just enjoy it. I remember watching it when it first came out and just having, Dracula and his vampire brides and having all these different universal monsters like the Wolfman and Frankenstein. And you also get a quick little glimpse at Mr. Hyde too and stuff. And, just having these different universal monsters come together in one movie. It was very interesting, and just having Hugh Jackman playing the main character of Van Helsing and seeing him be able to hunt down these monsters and all that stuff. Like I said, I guess this is considered a guilty pleasure because over the past most recent years, I've been hearing a lot of people bash on this movie and hating on this movie, and I'm like, yeah, sure, it's not a great movie, but it's fun. It's schlocky fun, you get into it, get out, you have fun with it, you're entertained with it, and it's like, it's not a bad movie by any means, I don't think. But I guess people are considering it now, like, it's not a very good movie, and like, if you like it, then it must be a guilty pleasure for you or something. So I guess this is part of my guilty pleasures because I really do enjoy this movie and have a lot of fun with it. Now, this one is actually a more recent. I watched this one for the first time like last week, but honestly, this has become a new favorite, and that is going to be From Dusk Till Dawn. Now, this is a movie that really it's not necessarily, well, it is a vampire movie, but in the sense that it's a vampire movie within the last the second half or last hour or something, whatever, how long it is. This one stars George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, where they're playing brothers, and basically they're bank robbers, and they kidnap this family, go down to Mexico, they come upon this bar, and this bar happens to be basically a hub for bloodthirsty vampires, and they don't know it. So it's a very interesting movie. It's very it's a fun movie to watch. I gotta say it. Like, I watched it for the first time last week, and it was very fun. It was bonkers crazy. The things that they do in this movie is definitely crazy. We get that little scene with Salma Hayek. You know what I'm talking about. But no, this movie, when I was watching it for the first time, it was like I was getting into it. The whole beginning, a half of the movie is basically, George Clooney's character and Quentin Tarantino. They're bank robbers. They're on the run. They kidnap this family, and then they go down to Mexico, and it's like they come upon this bar, and then like the whenever they come upon this bar, and Cheech Marin is there standing outside the bar, and I'm not gonna say what he said or repeat what he said, but let's just say that he starts naming some stuff out that's definitely not appropriate for on here. So if you're interested, definitely go check out that movie if you haven't seen it yet. It is bonkers crazy. It's a lot of fun, and you get vampires in it. And there was this one part where the vampires actually come out, and they're trying to survive. The characters are trying to survive, and there's literally a scene where there's a live band there playing, and there's this one part. I'm sorry. It's just funny rethinking about it, but like, there's this one part where the live band is there, and then there's literally the lead singer. He has a guitar, and the guitar is literally made out of a dead body. I was like, what the fuck? I saw that for the first time, and I was like, what the hell is this? I had a lot of fun with this movie, honestly. For a first time watch, it was a lot of fun, and I gotta say, it's become a new favorite of mine. And speaking of recent rewatches, I gotta say that Abigail was definitely a fun movie, and I gotta put this one on a list as far as like most recent rewatches. When I said in my review video that I believe that there hasn't really been a vampire movie that just sticks out to me, over the more recent years that we've been getting a couple of the vampire movies here and there. I believe this one was definitely a standout for me. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was a great premise, and the way that they're able to have this movie basically set up in one location is very interesting on how they were able to do this take of a vampire. You know, Abigail is a interesting character where she's this little girl and turns out that she is a bloodthirsty vampire. The way that she hunts down her victims, or hunts down the characters in the movie, where she's just doing these ballerina stuff while hunting them down, it's very interesting. I honestly did enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it when I went to go see it in theaters, and I just had a lot of fun with it. It was bloody, it was gory. I couldn't really ask for too much out of this movie, and it was just a lot of fun. It gave me what I wanted out of a vampire movie, and really just one of those ones that just sticks out over more recent years. So I've really been wanting a vampire movie like this, to where it was going to be fun. It just gives us things like that. It was just bloody and gory. So it basically did what I expected it, or basically what I wanted it to do. So I gotta say, Abigail is definitely a more recent favorite, and it goes on the list for me. And it's definitely one I'm going to be watching again in the future, because I just had a lot of fun with this movie. So that is going to do it for some of my top favorite vampire movies. There's definitely some other ones that I do like watching, but when it comes to the top ones that I probably rewatch the most, these are the ones on that list. And I do have a lot of fun with other vampire movies, but this list cannot go on forever. So those are just some of my top favorites that I have. But let me know down in the comments below, what are some of your favorite vampire movies. Definitely would like to know your thoughts on those. That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.